I'm going to share with you 10 absolutely critical things about prolonged fasting that you really need to know. A lot of people tend to overthink fasting, but the truth is, it's surprisingly simple. We're literally talking about not eating for a specific period of time. Yet the effects this has on your body can be absolutely mind-blowing. If you've never tried it, you should seriously consider doing so. Of course, within the bounds of common sense or medical advice if you have special conditions. Before we dive in, I want to compare fasting to a seemingly harmless habit that most people do every day: snacking. If you take a moment to look at what snacking really does to your body, you'll find it's absolutely devastating for one main reason: it chronically elevates your insulin levels. When insulin stays high day after day, you start developing insulin resistance, and that brings along a whole parade of problems like weight gain, fatigue, and difficulty controlling your blood sugar. Plus, snacking never truly fixes hunger in the long run. It only creates a roller coaster of ups and downs. You eat something, feel better for a while, and then crash an hour or two later when your blood sugar dips again. It's a vicious cycle. Fasting, on the other hand, allows insulin to drop and stay low, which enables your body to tap into fat stores for energy. That alone brings a whole host of benefits that might surprise you. Throughout history, many great minds, think Hippocrates, Mark Twain, and the ancient Greek philosophers, have openly praised fasting for its healing potential. They recognized it as a way to give the body a break from constant digestion and absorption, allowing deeper forms of repair and mental clarity to flourish. So with that in mind, here are the 10 critical things you need to know about prolonged fasting. 1. Fasting is all about controlled scarcity. When people hear prolonged fasting, one of the first reactions is, "That sounds like starvation." But there's a major difference: control. When you starve, you have no choice in the matter. There's no food around, and your body is forced to go without nourishment. When you fast voluntarily, you are in control every step of the way. You decide how long you'll go without food, and you can stop if you truly need to. We're basically tricking the body into thinking there's a food shortage, so it naturally dips into stored fuel, namely body fat. Humans developed fat tissue throughout evolution specifically to survive times of scarcity. By fasting, you're recreating that condition in a measured way. You can break your fast if anything feels off. That's the difference between a dangerous famine and a beneficial fast. 2. The myth of frequent meals for a healthy metabolism. We've all been fed the myth that frequent meals keep your metabolism high, or that you should never skip breakfast because it's the most important meal of the day. Meanwhile, many have also heard the advice that kids need an after-school snack and a bedtime snack. And guess who pushed a lot of these ideas? The snack food industry, which has a massive financial interest in selling you more products. In reality, all these constant eating occasions do more harm than good. Constant snacking leads to endless insulin spikes, and that disrupts your metabolic health. Fasting flips that on its head by allowing insulin to stay low for extended periods. That not only helps with fat burning, but also helps you avoid that never-ending hunger cycle. 3. Autophagy, your body's deep cleaning mode. When you fast, you tap into a powerful self-cleaning mechanism called autophagy. It's like an internal recycling system that breaks down old, damaged proteins in cells, using their components for repair or energy. Essentially, it targets damaged cells and proteins. This can mean old skin cells, weakened immune cells, or any cells that are no longer functioning optimally. Helps fight inflammation. By clearing out cellular debris, you reduce the inflammatory load in your body. Boosts longevity and vitality. Some research links autophagy to healthier aging and better organ function. Autophagy is incredibly beneficial for preventing issues like amyloid plaque buildup, which is often implicated in conditions like Alzheimer's. It can also clean up dysfunctional mitochondria, helping your cells produce energy more efficiently. Fasting is the #1 trigger to maximize autophagy because it eliminates the constant influx of nutrients that normally shuts down this cleanup process. 4. Nutrients and electrolytes still matter. A question that comes up often is, can I take supplements while I'm fasting? And the short answer is, yes, you probably should, especially electrolytes: potassium, magnesium, sodium, calcium, and certain vitamins like the B vitamins. Here's why. Modern deficiencies. Our food supply doesn't always provide the nutrient density it once did. Overfarmed soils and processed foods mean you might be starting with a subpar nutrient status. Increased need. While fasting, your body is shifting electrolytes around, especially when you dump glycogen, stored sugar, and the water that goes with it. This can cause a significant loss of minerals, leading to fatigue, weakness, or cramps if not replenished. Avoiding unnecessary cravings. Sometimes what you interpret as hunger is really your body signaling a nutrient deficiency. If you supply adequate electrolytes and key vitamins, that sense of hunger often eases up. What you don't want to do is add snacks, sweeteners, or unnecessary calories. The idea is to keep insulin low and allow your body's repair processes to kick in. Water, black coffee, unsweetened tea, and zero-calorie electrolyte powders or pills are fine. Anything more than that can diminish the benefits. 5. The right liquids: water, tea, coffee, but no calories. During a prolonged fast, most people stick to water, herbal tea, or black coffee. Some add a bit of salt to their water for sodium, especially if they start feeling lightheaded or get muscle cramps. Remember, you're losing a lot of water when your glycogen stores are burned up because stored carbs in the muscles and liver hold on to water. Once those stores are used, that water is released, and out go essential minerals as well. The general guideline is to drink enough to stay hydrated. There's a range of normal intake, from a few glasses to a couple of liters per day, depending on your individual needs, your size, and how active you are. If you find yourself consistently dizzy, having a hard time standing up without feeling faint, or experiencing a pounding heartbeat at night, it might mean you need a little more water and probably extra electrolytes. 6. Avoiding refeeding pitfalls. Refeeding is the process of introducing food back into your body after a prolonged fast. This step is crucial. Mishandling it can lead to big problems, such as refeeding syndrome, which involves dangerous shifts in electrolytes, especially potassium, if you suddenly spike your insulin with a big meal of high-carb foods. Go slow. You don't want to break a multi-day fast with a giant bowl of pasta or a box of donuts, tempting as that might be. Start with a small portion of something gentle, like a small salad with olive oil, or a handful of nuts, or a soft-boiled egg. Wait and assess. Give your body a chance to signal whether it's ready for more. After a couple of hours, if everything feels fine, eat a bit more. Avoid sugar and refined carbs. A sudden blast of sugary or starchy foods can push a big wave of glucose into your bloodstream, spiking insulin and rapidly pulling electrolytes into your cells. This can cause muscle weakness, heart palpitations, or worse. The key is to ease back into regular eating. Once you're fully refed, it's best to stick to healthy, balanced meals. Ideally something close to healthy keto or low carb if you want to maintain the benefits you've worked so hard to achieve. 7. Dawn phenomenon: why your blood sugar might go up. It can be pretty startling to check your blood sugar in the morning, if you do that, only to see it elevated, especially when you haven't eaten a thing for hours. This is called the dawn phenomenon. Essentially, your liver is producing glucose in response to hormonal signals, like cortisol, that spike in the early morning. Don't let this convince you that fasting raises your blood sugar in a bad way. The reality is that your body has a built-in mechanism to ensure you have energy when you wake up. If you already have insulin resistance, this morning spike might be even higher. But as you continue to fast intermittently or do prolonged fasts over time, your overall insulin sensitivity should improve, and those morning readings often settle down. 8. Ketones, the secret brain fuel. A key change that happens during a prolonged fast is your body ramping up ketone production. This is especially beneficial for your brain, which can't directly use fatty acids for fuel. Ketones tend to be a cleaner fuel source than glucose, often resulting in better mental clarity. Many people report that after the first day or two of a fast, they experience a clear-headed focus that feels almost euphoric. Stable energy levels. With ketones, you're not relying on fluctuating blood sugar. Instead, your body has access to plenty of stored fat, which means no major energy crashes. Appetite control. Ketones can help suppress hunger, which explains why so many fasting enthusiasts say their cravings vanish by day 2 or 3 of a prolonged fast. If you're new to fasting, the transition to ketone use can be rough. You might feel headaches, fatigue, or irritability, often called the keto flu. This passes once your body adapts. Consider adding MCT oil to your black coffee if you're doing a slightly modified fast and not worried about minimal calories, or simply pushing through a day or two of discomfort if you want to remain strictly water only. 9. Who should or shouldn't do prolonged fasting? While fasting has incredible potential, it's not for everyone. Pregnant or nursing. Bantam mothers, your body has different priorities. You're supporting another life, so fasting can be risky. People with eating disorders or underweight. Prolonged fasting might trigger disordered patterns or worsen malnutrition. Severe medical conditions. If you have heart issues, advanced kidney disease, or type 1 diabetes, you need professional supervision. Cancer patients, with caution. Interestingly, some cancer patients do pursue prolonged fasting to support treatments, but this should always be under medical guidance. For most relatively healthy adults, prolonged fasting, anywhere from 48 hours to a week, can be beneficial. Some people even do extended fasts of 14 or 21 days, although that's more advanced and definitely requires caution and an in-depth understanding of your body's signals. 10. Transitioning from intermittent fasting to prolonged fasting. If you've never fasted longer than skipping breakfast, jumping straight into a 5-day fast might be a shock to your system. One smooth approach is to start with intermittent fasting, where you compress your eating window each day, say 16:08 or 18.6 hours of fasting versus hours of eating. Once you're comfortable with that, you can try extending it to 24 hours, maybe once a week, letting your body learn how to go a full day without food. Eventually, you can experiment with 48 or 72-hour fasts, which is where deeper benefits like autophagy really kick in. Just be prepared for a bit of a mental and physical adjustment the first time you go that long without food. Hunger pangs tend to come in waves. They aren't constant, so you can ride them out. Keep yourself busy, stay hydrated, and don't fear a bit of salt if needed.